If you were following me last year, then you probably remember a little game that I'm about to tell you about that might kind of refresh some nostalgia in your head. And that game that I want to talk about today is actually Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights was a co-op, single-player experience where Batman has been killed, and you play as the Gotham Knights themselves, including Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, Dick Grayson as Nightwing, Jason Todd as Red Hood, and Tim Drake as Robin. And if you remember, I really enjoyed that game, and I actually defended it pretty frequently when it came to my friends, YouTube, and stuff like that. Now, I haven't talked about it in a long time because, well, the game simply stopped getting updated and people had simply moved on with their lives.
Beep, beep, beep! Oh, sorry! What's that? Oh, that's just a you can't make this shit up alarm!
But I decided a couple days ago that I saw the game and I'm like, you know what? I miss the combat of that game. It's kind of like how people go back and play Arkham Knight every couple of months because they love that game. Well, that's how I felt with playing Gotham Knights. So I went ahead and reinstalled the game and I checked it out and I'm like, wow, I still really like this game. Like a year later, I still defend this game pretty much to this day, and I enjoy it. And it does kind of bring me shame that it died so quickly. I would have loved to have seen more content from it. But I wanted to go ahead and make a video of this since I made a couple of content creations about this game that I would really like to share with you guys. So what we're going to do today is actually go look into Gotham Knights 1 year later. So go ahead, sit down, relax, and join me on this little nostalgia trip as we look at Gotham Knights 1 year later. Real quick before we get started in the video, I just wanted to show you this little graph right here. Yeah, holy moly, that's a lot of people who are not subscribed who are enjoying my content. So if you could go ahead and do me a favor and just click that subscribe button, I would love to get these numbers a lot more balanced, please, and thank you. Enjoy the video. If you remember, as I talked about in the intro, the story is pretty self-explanatory. Batman has finally died, and they didn't cop out like he disappeared or something. No, he is actually dead. 100%. He was killed by Rage during a fight in the Batcave. The Gotham Knights ran to respond, and of course they found a corpse. This is where the story starts off, is that basically you are taking over the Knights right after Batman has passed. And you begin to start protecting Gotham and investigating crimes and stuff like that. Soon after, you start looking into one of Batman's longest running case. Is the Court of Owls real? Fun fact, this is also still the only game where the Court of Owls have been represented in any DC Comics video game. So it's still one of the only games that do that if you're a fan of the Court of Owls. Upon doing this, you are able to play as any of the Knights at any time at all. We will go more into that during the gameplay section later. As you keep investigating, you do find out that the court is real. And you also find out that the Gotham is not your biggest fan. Sure, they all liked Batman, but they also liked Commissioner Gordon as well. And the newest Commissioner, Monica, is having issues as well as you guys are. While you may be a hero to some, you and the GCPD are not on friendly terms, and they will go after you if you attack them. Or if you're even just in the area, like they don't care, they're going to attack you. As you start navigating through Gotham with your special traversal or your bat bike, you will start to dive deeper into the Court of Owls story. And if you haven't played this game yet, I'm sorry to tell you, it's been a year, spoiler alert if you haven't. You find out that Jacob Kane, the mayor of Gotham, is the one behind it. Not only do you find out that Jacob Kane is behind it, Jacob Kane also knows about you, Batman, Bruce, and all the other Gotham Knights. They know your entire secret. Well, he does swear not to tell them. But you're also trying to take him down, so how long will he swear not to tell anybody? As you are going through fighting the Court of Owls and trying to uncover them and arrest their leader, you also run into Talia al Ghul, the leader of the League of Shadows at this time since Ra's al Ghul is officially dead. She goes ahead and tells you that she's also trying to stop the court because the court is a plague to the Gotham City, unlike the League of Shadows who will execute everyone to try to restart a new life. You're very hypocritical. While you are going around cleaning up Gotham City, the gangs, every single night, doing your investigations, you finally do end up capturing Jacob Kane. And guess who decides to kill him right in front of everyone? Talia al Ghul. Who would have thought? The bad guy is still the bad guy, whether Batman is there or not. Crazy concept, I know. In the game, you don't also just go after the League of Shadows and the Court of Owls. This game actually has some pretty good side content that I really enjoy. For example, you get to go against 3 of Gotham's most wanted as well. An older Harley Quinn, who's still crazy, Clayface, who really goes into his life before he became Clayface with acting and stuff like that, and Mr. Freeze, who seems to have gone off the fucking deep end after years of trying to freeze Gotham or cure his wife. I think in this game it's just freeze Gotham. He does not care about Nora or anything like that. I don't think he mentions Nora at all. And I love their side content. Not only is it in the open world, but it has their own special missions as well. For example, in Clayface's and Mr. Freeze's, you fight those 2 bosses twice, and they're both different. Clayface starts to get heated up, so his clay is harder, so it's harder hitting. Mr. Freeze fights you with just his suit and then fights you with a fucking mech. And you only fight Harley Quinn once, but I honestly enjoyed Harley Quinn's boss fight the most. But now that you've finally cleaned up the city when it came to the court and the League, now it is your time to fight Talia al Ghul, and she surprises you by showing you there is a Lazarus pit underneath Gotham City. In fact, directly underneath the Batcave. And as she reveals this secret to you, she also reveals that she has brought back Bruce Wayne. Now, a lot of people did not like this reveal because they were like, oh, it's probably race or something. And they were like disappointed that it was Bruce Wayne again. Well, they must have stopped playing the game right then and there because I think this actually works. The reason I think this works is because as you're playing, you're trying to convince him that, hey, you're here, because if you don't know comics, the Lazarus Pit does affect your mind. As you slowly beat him up and get him to realize what is going on, you start to tell him everything you guys have done, and ever since then. Then, Talia comes down and basically tells you to piss off. You take over the fight and you defeat Talia as the court shows up to take the Lazarus Pit. Bruce Wayne goes ahead and gets the Batwing that was conveniently located above the fighting arena, ready to launch into the Lazarus Pit, destroying the Lazarus Pit, the Court of Owls, and killing Bruce Wayne again. This is what I mean by a lot of people did not like this, because he came back just to immediately die. It was a cool boss fight, but he is still dead. Like, if they ever make a sequel to this, he is gone. So I thought personally it did work, so that's just my train of thought. As it ends, you broadcast a message to Gotham City letting them know that you are here to protect them, no matter what they think of you. And it's awesome. And it makes me wish that they kind of had like a... I don't know what it's called, like an infamy system, I think, kind of like in the Amazing Spider-Man video game and the Infamous games, where if you kept doing like good things and being a good vigilante, not going full-on Red Hood like everyone wanted to when this game was revealed, I feel like it would have been cool to have something like that, and it looks like they wanted to do something like that, although there's no evidence of them wanting to do that. But you just kind of get that vibe that like, yeah, I feel like I should have been able to do that. Either way, like I said, overall, I like the story, I like the boss fights. The only one I really don't like is Man-Bat, and that's just because you fight Man-Bat once in the asylum, then you have to fight him 3 times in a row to continue the story, and then you fight him again right before you go fight Bruce and Talia. It's insane and very, very repetitive. That's a huge flaw in my personal opinion. But that's basically the story. Like I said, overall, I thought the story was pretty good. It was definitely interesting. I have gone ahead and played through the story 4 times with each different night. It took me a long time, but I just recently beat it again with Nightwing's story, and that was a chug, and we're going to get into that right now. The gameplay of each of the nights are different animation-wise and some things-wise, but they overall play the same. You have your light melee attacks, your heavy melee attacks, you can make different chains, you can chain whichever light and heavy from whatever chain you're in, and then you all have range attacks. But they do differ in certain ways. For example, Nightwing, when you do his attack chain, he attacks multiple times in one button press. No other knight does that, unless you're counting heavy attacks, and a lot of heavy attacks will double attack for you. But Nightwing's is the only one where he'll do it with his normal light chain. Red Hood obviously has his non-lethal, armor-penetrating bullet hits. A lot of damage. Still the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And he is a lot more range focused. Obviously you can still be a brute with him and fight, but his melee animations are kind of weak. It's all about the guns, baby, if you're going to play Red Hood. He's also more aggressive and stuff like that, all about the range attacks. Then we have Robin, which was a shock to a lot of people. Robin is almost everyone I know's favorite character, and I personally like him second best, because he's just a really fun character. He's really stealthy. His bow staff can retract and hit enemies all around him. Robin is a really good character. 100% cannot deny that. And then we have Batgirl, which Batgirl, according to everything that I remember, Batgirl was considered the best overall because her battering range was pretty good, her melee is good, and her abilities are good. I would put her as my third favorite. Nightwing's at my last favorite. Now let's get into their abilities, and this is kind of one of the biggest reasons why I didn't like Nightwing. We'll start with him since I keep bringing him up. Nightwing's range attacks kind of just suck. Like, they're you can chain your range attacks as well, and chaining his is really, really weird to me. That's like the biggest thing. Also, I'm not a fan of his abilities either. Like, he's got some pretty good abilities. Like, every ability he uses once you get the skill points can heal you a little bit every time you use an ability. Like, he sends a shockwave to his enemies, he spins around while his Enigma sticks spin around him the entire time, inflicting damage all around. His ultimate ability is a giant shield bubble, which will injure enemies when inside and heal you rapidly. They're all very good abilities, but they're not personally my favorite abilities, so that's why he's pretty low on my list. Red Hood, on the other hand, is one of my favorites. He's also one of my favorite DC characters in the DC universe, so it was he's the biggest reason I got this game, to basically put it simply. And with that being said, I love the way his range attacks works in this game. I understand, once again, why they made him non-lethal, because this is a different Red Hood. Like, in this universe, he has been changed from his ways. He still uses guns, but they're basically non-lethal weapons. Think of a beanbag shotgun, only you can put 2 in your hands and you can rapid fire it. That's essentially what his guns are. In fact, it has a cool little cutscene where him and Robin are working on the firearms to make sure they're not too powerful, and it's really cool to kind of see like that work, how the guns work.
These loads are pretty hot. Are you sure the velocity isn't too high?
It'll be fine. Besides, it's not like I'll be shooting anyone who doesn't deserve it.
You're at the upper safety limit. That doesn't leave you a lot of margin for error.
You've seen the body armor criminals wear. Can't afford to play nice in an arms race.
Not all our enemies wear armor.
Uh-huh.
If you believe these rounds are safe, then prove it. Shoot me.
Do I agree it's still a stupid decision? Yes. But I understand why they did it. It was to make it so that Red Hood wouldn't be... Could you imagine he's just one-shotting everybody with his guns? You wouldn't play any other class, because everyone's going down in one shot. So I get it. There are reasons for his Y ability, though. Being armor-piercing rapid fire is still the dumbest thing ever, and I will never defend that for the life of me. But I get it. I also kind of grew to like the way he looks. Red Hood's very, Sonic Forces Knuckles looking, where he's just big and bulky. But their reason on their FAQ page, I'll try to put it up here if I can find it. I doubt it now since it's been a year and they haven't done any updates. I believe they said, yeah, we made Red Hood ripped in this one. What? If you came back to life, would you still want to be a scrawny little boy? No, you'd want to not die again, right? And I swear they said that, but it could have been a random comment in the Discord. I don't know. Either way, I grew to like the way his look. I like how the voice actors do for all the knights. And overall, I really like Red Hood in this game. The way he attacks, his stealth attacks and his loud attacks are so funny to me. Because he will literally just pick someone's head up from the ground and just point blank execute them with his non-lethal bullets. And it looks so painful. Or one of my favorite stealth attacks he does, he drops down and he'll literally just chokehold them like Lawbringer and For Honor. And that's his stealth, by the way. That's his stealth takedown. And it's so funny to me. Could you imagine just turning around and seeing that and go, oh fuck, dude. I really enjoy how they made Red Hood very aggressive in this game, but also still part of the team. Now that I'm done fanboying over Red Hood in this game, sorry, I'm just happy Red Hood even was in a fucking game. That's not just a challenge map. Robin, like I said, is an overall really good one. Robin's abilities, he has like this, he can send out little nanobots to fucking get rid of enemies and stuff like that. But also he has other abilities like just spinning his staff around really quickly, which can block projectiles and knock people down. He has his slingshot, which I really like the pellets that he shoots with them. His range animations are really, his chain range is really good, and overall, like I said, Robin's just really an overall fantastic character, and if you haven't played him on Gotham Knights, you really should. Then there's Batgirl. Like I said, apparently Batgirl is the best character out of all 4 of them. I personally didn't see that. If I had to guess the best character overall, it would be Robin, but I prefer Red Hood. But Batgirl, basically, she's a tech-savvy girl, so you know her special ability is calling up a drone that will help you out in a fight. She can also self-revive herself, which I think is super powerful and awesome. And overall, just she's got her baton, she swings that around. It's the most feeling like Batman out of all the characters, so I think that's why a lot of people like her. Speaking of that, all their traversal abilities, Batgirl is the only one that actually has a glider, so that actually can glide with her cape. Robin has a teleporter that he uses from the Justice League satellite. He can teleport himself. Red Hood has his fart jump that everyone called it, but it's just their lore reason is that he did gain powers from the Lazarus Pit, because the Lazarus Pit is really powerful in this game, lore-wise. So he's able to jump mid-air, essentially, and I actually really like it. I grew to like it. And then Nightwing just has a Fortnite glider, and I'm sorry to all my Nightwing fans. I love him as a character. I do not like him in this game. Like, I'm really trying not to shit on him, but he is not my favorite at all. But yeah, overall, gameplay-wise, it still really holds up to this day. I know it's only been a year, but no one talks about this game anymore, and I think a lot of people slept on it when they really shouldn't have. It wasn't a bad game. A lot of people say it's mid. I still believe it's above average. Now, another thing that I didn't touch on in my look into video is the stuff that came out after the game came out. There were 2 DLCs that came out for this game that I'm actually really impressed that we got. Remember, this game wasn't hyped up to be a live service game. So the fact that we got content after is pretty amazing. Even though it was kind of teetering. They're like, are we gonna live service this or are we gonna not live service this? Either way, there were 2 DLCs that came out with this game once you were finally done. The first one was essentially, and Heroic Assault is basically a gauntlet, and you would go through 4x4 going down this like mine shaft, and you would defeat certain enemies or certain challenges like preparing generators, killing the elite warriors, etc. And all this was basically a story to go after Starro. They added a new enemy in this game. Starro is in this game. Now, the boss fight with Starro isn't a boss fight. Starro is just a normal star, well, an above average size starfish, and he's in like a container. And so the last mission is basically you get down to him, you take out his guards, and you're escorting him out. And that's basically it. Well, yes, it does suck that that's how it is. They do add some, like, they show like enemy factions covered with the starfish head, and that's your version of fighting Starro. Like I said, it's not the best. Going through the floors is fun. I will say this though. You definitely need a team going through these floors. I, thank God, was able to get through this back when the game was popular. But the second DLC, there's like nobody playing this game anymore. And I'm trying to get through the second DLC, which I'll touch in a second, and it's been really difficult solo. These 2 DLCs were absolutely made for, you need a team. You need to do this. But yeah, for something that we didn't expect to actually get new content, it was a welcome addition. Like I said, it adds replayability. Not only that, it did increase your gear score. I forgot about that. As you go through the floors, you got better and better gear. This was the only way to get better gear after you beat the game. And they increased the level cap, I believe. The level cap was 30 and now it's level 40. And not only that, if you remember the last YouTube short I made on the game, if you went through the Heroic Assault floors and you had max level gear and you went back into the city, you were one-shotting all these people in the open world, which, because you were level 40, they're level 30, so you're literally one-shotting these people because you're so overpowered. Thankfully, they did fix that in an upcoming patch, because that really did make the open world feel pretty useless, which would have sucked really bad. The second DLC I'll touch on just a little bit because honestly, I haven't finished it, even though I'm trying to finish it. But like I said, you really need a team, and nobody plays this game anymore. The second DLC is called the Kelvin Incident. I don't really know what it's about. I really don't. It's more floors, but every 5 floors, there's 20 floors. Every 5 floors, you get to fight a boss from the story. For example, the first boss that I fought, and the only one that I fought, is Harley Quinn and Mr. Freeze. And let me just tell you, that boss fight was actually pretty difficult. I was able to somehow find a random during it, and thank God I had that random, because I can fight both of these guys on my own. But them, plus their enemies, plus their allies, is really, really difficult. I'm scared to go through the rest of the floor because it's really difficult. The one that really sucks is like defending the generator, because you'll be fighting these people off and that generator is just getting hit while non-stop while you're trying to fight, and then you're trying to get over there to fight them, but then they're countering you by like doing AoE attacks or hitting you from the range and you didn't see them. And there's a lot of dodging. Just remember, there is no counter button in this game. The Gotham Knights can only dodge and retaliate with that. This isn't Arkham Knight. I still think it works before anyone thinks I'm going crazy on that. But those were the 2 DLCs that came out, and that's basically an overview of the game for you if you really want a quick one. I say as I look at the time of the raw footage, oh Jesus. But yeah, I still think this game is good. This game does go on sale a lot, so if you want to pick it up, if this didn't convince you, pick it up when it's on sale. It's still a really fun game, and if you like DC video games, you will like this one. I know a lot of people said it was mid. I still think it was above average. I don't think it was as bad as people wanted. I think the reason people were mad is because it was right after Arkham Knight. It's kind of like the Assassin's Creed 3 thing that happened. Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations were such good games. Ezio was such a good character. And then Assassin's Creed 3, Connor was not Ezio, so a lot of people did not like him. And I thought that was complete, utter bullshit. That's not fair. And that's how I feel with Gotham Knights. Arkham Knight came out. Arkham Knight was the perfect Batman game. I will never deny that. And then Gotham Knights was the next follow-up game. Everyone's like, where's my counter? Where's this? Where's that? It has some good things that it does. It's not perfect, but there is things in there. For example, there's no tank combat in Gotham Knights, so it's already a 10 out of 10 versus Arkham Knight.